This is 30 minutes of good news for and about business in Idaho. Business at its best is just that. We recognize that business is inherently good, and a majority of companies set out to do the right thing day in and day out. We're here to celebrate all of that is right with business, and on the show today, we show you what happens when a company finds the right employee, creating a career match. Are you asking the right questions? We partner with NNU's School of Business to get your company productive. Today, we focus on the power of asking the right questions. Then, we tackle the strategic planning process and what you can do to take your business to the next level with a great plan. Finally, we've seen a lot of new businesses on the scene. A new program helps those fresh companies operate with high levels of ethics and integrity, all to attract and keep customers. The story on business at its best. First, it is time for Career Matchmaker today. You know, the Better Business Bureau partners with Northwest Nazarene University and the Department of Communication Studies students to bring you stories of local businesses. This week, we turn the table to show you how one person overcame the odds of finding the right place to work.
In this economic climate, fear of being laid off is common, especially for those close to retirement. Besides the loss of income, it can mean a loss of retirement savings. That's exactly the situation Evelyn LeGrand faced.
I was terrified. I'd just finished reading an article the week before that people in the age group from 50 to 65 can't find a job. And I'm thinking, oh, I need a job, I want a job, and I've been self-employed most of my life and worked at my last job almost 8 years. And I'm thinking, I'm done. Who's going to hire somebody that's 60 years old?
For help, she turned to the Department of Labor's Professional Networking Group. It's a program developed to help people like Evelyn find work. Jennifer Grundhauser, Business Solutions Specialist for the department, says the group provides vital tools that help people find jobs and companies find good workers.
The Professional Networking Group is a group of unemployed individuals who have typically held higher level positions within companies and now are looking for work, many for the first time in years.
Shortly after joining the program, LeGrand got an interview with Pro Power Clean of Boise, owned by Linda Alsbury. Alsbury first heard about the Professional Networking Group at a conference.
We found out that we could use the Department of Labor for finding qualified applicants for us. And with that, they would do prove-it testing. They would put a job description out for people that are looking for work through them. And they would actually interview them before they even give them to us.
3 weeks after losing her job, LeGrand was hired on by Alsbury, who was very pleased with the process and with her new employee.
They went above and beyond. I mean, they tested Evelyn with QuickBooks, with Excel, with customer service. We had that knowledge when she came in for her first interview.
LeGrand echoes the satisfaction, saying the group was key to her finding a job that suited her and in such a short time.
You know, I was asked questions on my experience, what I was actually looking for, and they fit me. And this was my first interview coming to Pro Power Clean. And it was the best interview I've ever gone through in my life. Not that I've had a lot, but I mean, it was like coming home.
More stories on those types of businesses in the weeks to come. Coming up next on Business at its Best, questions are powerful ways to breed dialogue and get people involved, to agree or to reach a goal. The importance of asking the right question when we return. Welcome back. Better Business Bureau and Northwest Nazarene University team up to bring you expert advice on making your business the best it can be. Today, Dr. Ron Galloway with the NNU School of Business joins us to talk about the importance of asking the right questions. Dr. Galloway, thanks so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So you cite Jeffrey Gitomer, who's a sales expert, has written a lot of books, and he says questions lead to answers, answers lead to harmony, which is important, and answers lead to productivity, answers lead to customers, which every business says we need more harmony, we need more customers, definitely.
The first time I read that, I thought to myself, it leads to more harmony. You know, when I'm more careful even in my home, it leads to more harmony in my home as well. But that's exactly right. I don't know how many times you've thought that you could come in and just make a statement, this is all wrong, or do something different. And then if you stop and you change things, perhaps maturity takes over a bit, and you say, you know, how did you happen to think of it this way, or how did you happen to do this, or just change the verbiage? Quite often you find yourself thinking, there may be a different way to do things after all.
So it's really just changing our thought process heading into the conversation and think, how can I rephrase the statement into a question?
Right, and how to give the person that you're talking with some ability to think on their own, some permission to do their own thing. I've also found in my own home, with my wife being left-handed, that quite often a left-hander can't do the same things that I do in the same way, and they must do it a different way, otherwise they could kill themselves, quite literally, in some aspects of things.
So there is a different way. The other thing that Gittimer writes about and you bring up is the fact that it avoids a lot of arguments.
Oh yeah, especially if you're talking with someone and there's a status difference between the two of you, you can sure change the hard feelings that can occur if you'll say to the person, how did this happen, or is this a really good way to do it, or what do you think about, and go from that perspective.
So let's talk about this idea, though, of being able to attract more customers by asking the right questions.
So if you're talking with someone and you say to them, kind of empower them, get them in that dialogue, you know, what do you think about, or do you have exact answers to this question? The National Cash Register Company had a whole list of questions they sent their salespeople out with that were geared toward getting them to think that if they had a cash register, things could be more accurate, but they never sold their product until after all those questions had been kind of put out there to be germinating in the customer's mind. And then they said, well, you know, I may have something that could help you out. And so that's the kind of thing that you're looking for. You're trying to ask the kind of questions to get the customer to come to the conclusion, you know, I may need a new product. I may need something that will help me out. I may need a new gadget. You know, we're very much a gadget kind of environment now.
And so your recommendation is put the list of questions together.
Right. And so Gittimer says, put together a list of 25 questions, and he says to hone those questions, work on them. You know, keep massaging them. Get the right question down so that you're getting a series of answers. If any of you have taken debate, you know that you win or you lose your debates in high school or college, depending on the questions you ask. And they're a way of asking questions that are kind of disarming, that you can just say, you know, what have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And they finally come to the conclusion, well, maybe I need something different in the way I do things, and then you make your sale. And
a quick thing to point out to folks, it's important to separate yourself from your competition, but not compare yourself to your competition through this process of asking questions.
Have you ever noticed that someone says, well, go out and check everywhere else, but when you come and check on us last or whatever, you're comparing. But don't always think of yourself as being the lowest in price, but there may be some other aspects of the comparison. Maybe it's by Idaho, maybe it's by local, maybe it's the service that you're going to be doing. The one thing you want to make sure you put in and plant in your customer's mind is, you know, I've never been asked that question before. I'm a participant in the sale process.
Thought-provoking questions. Dr. Ron Galloway, NNU, thank you so much for the great information for small businesses. And coming up later on Business at its Best, a new program helps new business be the best it can be. First, making the best of your strategic plan with trusted business coach Greg Carlson. And welcome back. You know, every successful business knows where they are going and how they're going to get there. It is called strategic planning. And many people associate this term with action that only the big companies participate in, but the reality is every business, large and small, needs to have a strategic plan. And with 2012 now in full swing, Greg Carlson is here to show us that it is not too late to plan for 2012. Greg, thanks so much for being with us today. So first of all, let's define this term strategic plan for the small businesses out there to take away the idea that it's only for the big guys.
Yeah. First of all, you know, it's a fancy term, but really the reason that companies do strategic planning is to provide two things, and that is focus and alignment in the organization. Putting together a plan on what you're going to focus on to take your business to the next level. And that's why companies do strategic planning.
And then you say you can actually put this together on one page. And when it breaks it down to just those two words.
Focus and alignment. What I tell people is, yeah, it's very important to have a vision and a mission and make sure you have values in your business. But if you want to create focus in your business next year, you need to go through a very simple process of identifying what we would call critical success factors or strategic objectives. And you want to identify 3 of those things that must happen in your business. And I want to start that phrase with they must. It might be we must improve our online sales, or we must have a better trained workforce, or we must increase our sales at a particular division, or we must increase production in line A. These are fairly lofty things that affect the whole business. These are the 3 things that have to go right in your business that you're going to focus on to take your business to the next level.
So we identify those 3 things.
Now,
we got to be able to measure it, because I know I keep hearing you say measure, measure, measure.
Now, we identify those 3 things and we start putting together action items that facilitate that we must statement. And those action items have got to be SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. And they must be owned by somebody. So that there's an owner that is responsible for delivering the goods. Now, he or she may not do all the work, but they are responsible for delivering the goods. That is what you've decided is you're going to create focus in your organization, and you're going to work on these action items. You're going to measure them. They are relevant. You're time-bound. You put key milestones together. In other words, we're going to have half of it done by August and the other half by the end of the year. Whatever it is, but the whole idea is creating alignment in the organization and focus.
And when you talk about having it one page, it's easy to keep that in front of people.
It's easy.
And to go back to...
Exactly.
You could hang that on the wall.
You hang it on the wall. And that goes to the final point that you have to do is you communicate, and you communicate. Everybody in the company needs to know what you're focusing on. So many times people will do planning and it's done in the office, and nobody out in the organization knows that maybe you want to improve the quality of your workforce. But when the whole organization understands that, you now have focus, and you also have alignment. And that's what alignment is when the whole company is focusing on the same strategic objectives, those 3 things you've decided that needs to move forward.
Focus and alignment, all on one page.
There you go.
Let's talk about the flexibility of this one-page strategic plan.
Well, obviously, any plan, and when I talk to people, it's like if we're going to plan a sailboat trip from here to Hawaii and a storm comes up, we don't stay right to the plan. We deviate off the storm. But we return to the plan in the event that we find that it is the best route to go. Many times we put together a plan and we find out this really is not the most important thing that we need to do. So we deviate the course. But if we don't know where we're headed, we're probably going to get there. And that's the point of having a plan.
Absolutely. All right, Greg Carlson, OnTrac Coaching. Folks want to find you online, the website?
OnTracCoaching.com.
That's ONTRAC.
Thank you.
COACHING. All right, thank you so much, Greg, for that great advice for our small businesses. And coming up later, when I say employee benefits, you probably think health care and 401k, but what about financial wellness, helping your employees get out of debt, live on a budget, and save for the future? One company is working to bring that benefit to your employees. Details when Business at its Best returns. What if your employees had such peace of mind about their personal finances that they could focus all of their attention on improving the finances of your company? Face it, the stress of personal debt, lack of savings, and preparation for the future is going to distract employees from giving it their all when they're on the clock. JT Belknap with Wadell and Reed is working with a number of Idaho companies on a financial wellness program. JT, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So first of all, let's talk about Wadell and Reed. For those folks who have not heard of the company before, tell us about what it is and what you do.
So Wadell and Reed is a financial planning firm. We're actually celebrating our 75th anniversary this year, and 50 of those years being right here in the Treasure Valley. We're a Midwestern company. We're very proud of our traditional conservative roots, and we're based out of Kansas City, Kansas. Okay. And our core business model is comprehensive financial planning for families, and now we've kind of shifted a little bit of focus in a program for the corporate benefit platform.
Now, this was brought to my attention when you heard me speak at an event, and then out of the blue you sent me a book called The Dream Manager, which is all about the importance of business owners and managers helping employees realize their dreams and all that comes out of that. And you really tied the program, the benefit wellness program, the financial wellness benefit, I should say, to this whole Dream Manager concept. Tell me about that.
So I think as a small business owner, it's really important to ask yourself, are my employees more concerned with their personal financial situation or my company's financial situation? And naturally, we're going to be more concerned with our personal financial situation. So the follow-up question would be, if we could provide tools and resources as an employer to our employees to improve their personal financial situation, could they then be more equipped to provide 100% attention and return back into our business?
And you're actually able to, you look at cycles based on payday, on the level of stress in people's lives, and in those days before payday, all of a sudden we see this stress level come up and productivity goes way down, things like that?
Absolutely. I mean, if you were to see your employees walk through the door every day and have a lead vest on, you could see that for the average American, we're carrying a fair amount of weight, and it's not just physical. It could be that actual stress that we find from debt, not being able to visualize a dignified retirement or sending our children to college. And so being able to provide a way to lift some of that weight off of our employees will provide a spring in the step when they come back into work the next day and be present in the workplace.
And it's really all about education. You run the group of employees through a 5-session education course, and then there's one-on-one coaching and accountability that's built in.
Yeah, our model is really awareness, education, and behavior. Awareness is so important that it's time to get real. You know, find out really where am I financially as a benchmark against the goals that I've set. And once we have that awareness, we need education. Our high schools and colleges are not teaching personal finance. And so this is a way for us to come on site to a business campus, provide education to just get the overall IQ increased as far as financial matters. And most importantly is the behavioral changes, working one-on-one in a coaching environment to figure out an action plan to really change our behaviors and become confident in our finances.
This has been around for a while, and the Federal Reserve actually did a study of the outcomes of what happens when people go through this course. Tell me about the outcomes and what we found from that study.
So what we found is there is a fair amount of stress in the workplace, and that really has a negative bottom line result to businesses. It could be anything from just absenteeism to not being 100% present, which may be minor offenses, all the way to major ones, which could be theft, embezzlement, and worse. And what we found is people that have enrolled in wellness workplace programs have seen significant increases in things such as adding contributions to their 401k plan, building an emergency fund, setting up a schedule to pay off debt, and
getting to peace of mind.
Getting to peace of mind.
Okay. Folks want to get a hold of you, best way to do that?
My phone number is 338-0771, area code 208, here local in Boise. Or the website personally is jonathanbelknap.wrfa.com.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
JT Belknap for being with us today. And coming up next on Business Solutions, differentiating the differentiating factor for your new company. Welcome back to Business at its Best. Have you noticed a wave of new companies in the marketplace? They're out there and they're clamoring for your attention. Better Business Bureau has a new program. It's called the New Business Associate. It's built to identify those new companies that are created to operate with high levels of ethics and integrity. Jason Billester is in charge of new business development for BBB. Jason's in our office, and I wanted to bring you on and talk about this new program. Let's talk about just the scope nationally of what we've seen as far as new businesses coming on board in the last year.
Yeah, thanks, Dale. You know, with so many people unemployed right now, a new breed of business owners has emerged, the accidental entrepreneur. And that's someone who stopped looking for a job, decided to start his or her own business. So, you know, with that in mind, Kauffman Foundation released a study that revealed in 2010 over 565,000 new businesses emerged.
Over 500,000 new businesses in 2010.
Yep. And unfortunately, though, many new entrepreneurs don't have the experience or training or background necessary for success.
So that leads to this idea that, number one, you need the background for success, but you're also working hard to get your feet under you in this marketplace that is it's highly competitive.
Yeah.
So Better Business Bureau has a new program in place. Tell us about that.
In response to these just incredible numbers, Better Business Bureau has designed a new program specifically open to new businesses, 1 day old up to 1 year old, that helps them.
And it's called the New Business Associate Program.
New Business Associate Program that's designed to help build and promote new businesses to be a leader in advancing trust in the marketplace.
Now, there's an education component. We just came off of a training with businesses this past week.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that education component and some of the pieces and key areas where we're helping businesses, new businesses, improve.
Several areas. The training that is offered through the New Business Associate Program includes, key components that lead to success, which include networking, customer service. We're talking about.
Even this past week with Norm Becker from the SCORE came in and did a session for us talking about marketing and what he was doing, what they're doing to help new businesses also succeed in the marketplace. And then a huge part of the education aspect is going to be this idea of helping businesses build trust through the BBB standards for trust.
Absolutely. And that includes doing business ethically, advertising honestly, being transparent with a consumer, and
ways to be responsive in the marketplace and safeguard privacy. Big issues for these small businesses. The NBA program, folks want to find you, they can call you. The phone number?
Absolutely. Call Better Business Bureau office at 208-947-2109. Give us a call, inquire about the program, or go to our website at snake-river at boisebbb.org.
Actually, it's going to be bbb.org. We'll get you right to the website just fine. So it's bbb.org to get to the website. Jason, thanks so much for being with us. That does it for this edition of Business at its Best. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week for Business at its Best.